Hi, just a continuation from school council. We had to cut off our leadership update. So I had a few updates that I wanted to share with people. So here we go. First update is that we have a new member to our administrative team here in our school. Her name is Taryn Taylor, and she is our new associate dean who oversees some of our health programs and then some other programs that are also in the Division of Extended Education. Taryn will be overseeing the PN and pre-health program in our school. So Taryn wasn't here today, so I couldn't have introduced her anyway, but we will have a formal introduction of her in our next school council. So welcome to Taryn, and I'm looking forward to working with her. Let's see. The other piece that I wanted to share is some good news, if you can believe it. Good news. We just found out a few days ago that we have received a generous donation from Bill and Irma Willekaklad for our simulation lab. So we have received $300,000 as a gift in kind to put towards simulation in our school. And the really good news is that there aren't a lot of rules around how we can use that money. So if we need to do a renovation, if we need to buy some more mannequins or maybe some virtual reality, I'm not sure what that will look like. Alicia will be working with a group on how we will use those resources. So I know Liz will be a big part of that as well. But anyway, some great news that we have a generous donation to put towards our simulation labs. I also wanted to share with you our Naughty and Nice campaign. So for those of you who recall, Naughty and Nice are our Christmas elves who find families who are in need and help them out from the generous donations of members in our school. We had 2 families this year that we were able to help. And thanks to all of our great members, we were able to contribute about $1,300 split between the 2 families. So about $650 between each family was a very, I think, a nice enhancement to their Christmas. I delivered the second families yesterday, and yeah, it was very, very meaningful and very much appreciated. So thank you to everyone who participated in that campaign. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing the tradition. Let's see, what else do I have here? Alicia wanted me to ask people if there was any particular piece of communication that you would like to know about. If you could send her a quick email. She is going to send a school-wide communication out on Monday. And it's just, we've got some things compiled, but she's just wanting to hear from folks if there's anything in particular you're feeling that you need to have some information about going forward for the winter term, to let her know, and she'll be sure to include that in that communication. So if you could let her know, that would be fantastic. The other piece is we were in a senior administration meeting last week, might have been last week, I think, and there was some information in that meeting that was shared with us that we were asked to share with our members. And so I'm just going to run as quickly as I can through this list. Some of this stuff is super relevant, others you may or may not have a strong interest in, but anyway, I'm going to run through each of the items. So the first one was a heads up to the group that meetings will commence with the Child Advocacy Center, and really looking at finding ways to collaborate with the institution with their different programs and courses. It looks like they're going to start with a launch of groundbreaking, but government funding is still, government funding is in place, but the government approval piece, I'm not sure that's been absolutely finalized to this point, but we're right on the cusp of moving forward with that. So wanted to let members know about that. We received some updates on the investment management agreement. So that's the agreement that the government is making with each post-secondary institution. It's basically a contract on what our deliverables are to receive our funding, essentially. So there were some updates on that. Nothing shareable at this point. But anyway, there was a bit of a discussion around that. There are also a few other, I guess, partnerships that we're looking to build. One called Health Cities, and another one, Global Sports Academy. We're looking at creating some affiliation with these two groups. Don't have a lot of details about that, but we were just brought into the loop on that. CAQC meetings are continuing, and also the president search and the vice president search. Vice president external searches are continuing. I think they've made an offer on the external search, but I'm not exactly sure where that's at either. The Future of Work initiative has a new timeline for implementation leading up to a May 1st program launch. Andrew Pinsent will be reaching out to all the managers in the institution to help continue that work and get some key pieces in place by January 31st. The Voice of the Employee survey results have been compiled, and we provided some input from our school on where our top areas were. The three key areas identified were the RDP, the Polytechnic strategy, communication, and perhaps the lack of communication or the style of communication. I'm not exactly sure where that piece was going. And then our people, training and support. So the next steps are how the institution is going to deal with this input. And once I have a sense, I will be sure to update folks on that. We had some budget updates provided. So last year's budget year end, we ended up in a really good spot, thinking we weren't going to fare that well. It sounds like they were able to balance the books fairly well, but moving forward, we still know that there's going to be some cuts that we're going to have to make, and they also know that we're going to receive less funding from the Alberta government. So we will be working on strategies around that as well here coming up in the new year, and of course you'll be informed as much as possible as we work through that loop. One little piece here I'll add, and it's maybe a little bit early, but then again maybe not. When we're starting to plan for a budget, it's really good to know if we have people who are thinking about retiring on our own radar. So if you are thinking about retiring, you're not even sure at this point, but just thinking about it, it's great if you can let myself know, just because there's some strategizing we can do with funding when we have a bit of a heads up that somebody may be retiring. So again, it's not a commitment to retire. It's just perhaps if it's on your radar, you might consider sharing that with me to help with our budgeting going forward. This came from IT. Privacy and access remains a prevalent issue. So staff and faculty are encouraged to look at information shared and received through a critical lens and be diligent in ensuring the security of information being shared. So I'm assuming this means primarily through our email, just making sure that you're being very careful and diligent about opening files when you know who they are coming from and that sort of thing. The strategic transformation plan centers around teaching and learning and is supported by three themes of the Red Deer Polytechnic experience, people and culture, and the sustainable Polytechnic. New values are in draft form. They were shared with us at this exempt meeting a week or so ago. I think there's some honing that needs to be done, but I think that stuff will be rolling out fairly soon. Once they get some final revisions made to that work. Student success planning is kicked off. The task group is well underway in the process for creating our institutional goals. Members of the team are from various departments across the institution. They include frontline staff, faculty, supervisors, managers, and division leaders. So we'll be hearing about that, I'm sure, very soon as well. The operational planning process. Normally we're really into operational planning by now, but it's being pushed back. They're trying to get everything linked to each other. So the student success planning team will be working alongside all of us as we start to create our operational plans, and everything will be integrated. In theory, this will make things look a lot more succinct and a lot more clear in terms of our goal setting. And this is new for us, so we'll see how this strategy works moving forward. The United Way campaign has been launched. I'm sure you've heard about different things going on, and they're really encouraging people to participate in any way that they can. I'm not even sure if that campaign it could even be completed by now. I'm not 100% certain about that. And then, of course, the relaunch team continues to work on COVID responses and communications. We'll continue keeping our staff, faculty, and students up to date to the best they can. As we are, I'm sure, all aware, things are changing all the time. We just seem to constantly have an update, whether it's from the college or whether it's from the government and AHS. So, I think we're getting pretty good at pivoting these days. So anyway, the college is doing its best to keep people up to date on that as well. I think that's all I had. Oh, Sarah Malla wanted to say thanks to everyone for all the time and support they've provided students this term. It's been another roller coaster, but she's appreciated everyone's time and energy to successfully complete the fall term. And wouldn't it be nice if we could have a little celebration after this term? Anyway, everyone can celebrate, I guess, in their own way. So I think that's it. Again, as I said in the school council meeting, thank you to everyone for all that you are doing and continue to do. Get through these next couple of weeks with your marking and final exams, and I hope you have some time to spend with your family and friends over the holiday. Take care, and happy holidays. Happy New Year. See you soon. Bye.